What if I asked you to get to your cousin's best friend's house across town that you've never been to before using only your knowledge of the changing winds? Nope, no phone.
You want me to what?
Pretty safe to say we would be lost without maps, especially as they've evolved into the at-your-fingertips technology that we have today. Seriously, think of the last time you got yourself somewhere using only coordinates or a street address. Mapping saves lives. And for Plant with Purpose, mapping is the key to unlocking extremely vital data and information for our farmers to improve their techniques, their land, and the lives of their families. To explain how we use mapping at Plant with Purpose, I couldn't think of a better person to ask than the Queen of Maps, our GIS remote sensing specialist, Sophia.
Basically, what's the point of mapping?
That it's a super hard question to answer. Mapping is beautiful. I love it.
It's not just a point on a map. If you get details about it, like every point can essentially have an infinite amount of data attached to it. So the local team, they have their own like independent surveyors that collect this data. They're trained to collect this data. I think it really engages the local team to think of how to make this technology work for them.
Thanks to developing mapping technology, Sophia got to show me just how detailed and specific the data we're receiving has become. We use a system called ArcGIS, and through this program, we're able to receive mapping information from our partners and access helpful tools like watershed pronunciation, photos, notes, you name it.
If someone submits 10 surveys in 5 minutes, chances are they're not connecting with the farmer, and we can catch that right away, whereas in paper, that was not something we're able to do.
A lot of the mapping data is remarkable to look at. It had me doing a double take, wondering how our partners farm on land like this.
And you can see just how crazy steep that is. There are times when a surveyor will go to a farm, they anticipate walking the boundary of the farm. But once they get there, it's too dangerous for them to collect that data.
The areas we work in are often particularly steep and rocky hillsides.
These are people's farms. This is what they tend to every day. And sometimes the steepest farmland is what is available to them.
And through these maps, you can really see how true that is.
I think there's this one area that has 31 different tree species. And I'm like, wow, that has to be community forest.
Wow. Community forests
Are forests that are valued, protected, and nurtured by the community. These, paired with farmer field schools, are extremely beneficial.
One method they encourage is diversifying the species on their land.
It can be quite scary if they're reliant on 1 or 2 tree species, and let's say there is a bug or some sort of fungus that goes through and targets out one species or any related versions of it. That can be detrimental to their sole source of income.
As we've collected mapping data for a while, we discovered quite a few things that shocked us. Although our data is often extremely encouraging, the brutal truths of a changing environment show through as the data is collected.
So I kept a spot in the survey form that just said, like, report general notes. And we were thinking, for me, a tree species, if they just said, not sure what this tree species is, or need translation for this tree species. But what actually ended up happening is we're just getting a lot more of the farmer experience where they just say they're not able to plant. It's been too dry, or it's just been fires.
I think truly when you're collecting this data, you are really seeing the humanity behind it all. And it's powerful.
But another great thing about mapping is that we can use these records to improve resilience against natural disasters like flooding and wildfires. And our partners do just that.
And what's really great about having this data collected is that we can look at it over time.
They see this technology and they're like, okay, well, we've been curious about water quality or flooding, and soil. Can this be applied? And we're like, absolutely.
A lot of that is because they have agency and power over their own data.
It belongs to them. It works for them. We don't want to collect this data if it doesn't serve a purpose to our local teams and for the farmers.
Less interference from us, more leadership from the local teams. I loved what Sophia had to say about that.
The farmers aren't being studied, they're being interacted with. We're learning more about what is going on the ground, better to support them, while also, like you said, meeting our reporting needs.
This is something that we strive to put at the forefront of all aspects of our work at Plant with Purpose.
And we found that these plants work together when they're closer to each other. This is how we're propagating this tree. I think for the surveyors and for like the local teams, seeing all the data compiled, like that's a huge impact.
Mapping matters to the world, but it especially matters to us here at Plant with Purpose, and to the local smallholder farmers who utilize it to bring hope and innovation to their communities. The next time you pull up maps on your phone, think about how amazing it is that we can access such rich and diverse information. Mapping matters, and the people behind the maps are what make them so valuable.